Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're making yeast donuts. This has been highly requested by my family. So without further ado, let's get started. First thing, we're going to sift 4 cups of all-purpose flour. We just want to incorporate more air into our flour, thus having an airy donut. Now we're going to combine the rest of our dry ingredients. We're going to add the sugar and some instant yeast, about a tablespoon's worth, and a teaspoon of kosher salt. We'll just mix that together and set that aside for later. And now onto our wet ingredients. We're going to quickly warm milk and butter in the microwave. Then we're going to combine the butter and the milk and take its temperature. We want to reach between 120 to 130 degrees Fahrenheit. And now in the bowl of a stand mixer, we're going to mix all our ingredients together, including eggs. And we're going to need 2 eggs. I just gave a head start after I added the eggs in order to make the wet ingredients a more homogeneous mixture. Now that we've got all our ingredients in the bowl, it's time to attach it to the stand mixer with the dough hook and let the dough hook do its job. We're going to leave this on low and let it do its thing until it comes together. You may have to stop the mixer in between and scrape the sides of the bowl. If you find that your dough is still wet, you may have to add a little more flour. Add a couple tablespoons at a time until you start seeing the dough starting to ball up. At this point, I chose to finish kneading the dough by hand. As you can see, the dough is still sticky, so you'll need to use plenty of flour on your work surface. You can continue to use your stand mixer if you would like, but I opted to finish this by hand. That way I don't accidentally add too much flour and I can minimize making that mistake. You'll notice that this dough is really soft, and that's exactly what we want. We want to keep this dough very soft. Once your dough is tacky and not sticky, you can place it in a well-greased bowl and let this rise for a couple hours. This is the result of 2 hours worth of proofing. Now it's time for the most satisfying part, punching the dough down. Once you've given it a punch and you have redistributed the air, reflour your surface, and we're going to roll this dough into a rectangle. Now, at this point in time, your dough may not want to cooperate with you. Don't worry, we have a remedy coming up for that. Now you want to roll your dough to about a 1/2 inch thickness. Your rectangle doesn't need to be perfect, but get it to the dimensions of almost the size of your half tray. Once you've done that, you can just transfer the dough onto your tray that's lined with plastic wrap, and you're going to cover it with more plastic wrap. And we're just going to put this in the fridge for roughly 1 hour. It'll make cutting much easier. Also, you can keep this in the fridge overnight if you don't plan on frying your donuts in the hour. Now that your dough has had some time to chill, it'll be much easier to cut. We're going to generously flour our surface once again. Today I'm using a 3.5 inch circle cutter and 1.25 inch circle cutter for my donuts. Now that the dough is easier to roll, I'm going to roll it a little further out so I can cut 12 equal portions of donuts. Now when you're cutting the middle holes, make sure you keep the dough. You can make donut holes, donut balls, timbits, whatever you fancy to call them. They're just goodness, and you don't want to waste any of it. Once you're done cutting the donuts, you're going to loosely cover them with plastic wrap again. And we're going to let these rise for an hour and a half. It depends. If you had them in the fridge overnight, they may take a little bit longer. You might be looking at 2.5 hours for the rise. If you've only kept them in the fridge for an hour, then they should be good to go after about an hour and a half. Now to make this glaze, we're going to start with 1/3 cup of butter melted. Then we're going to add 2 cups of icing sugar. Then we're going to add milk, about 1 tablespoon at a time. Now there's various ways to make glazes. You can use whatever liquid you want to use. If you want to use evaporated milk, regular milk like whole milk or 2%, you can even use cream. The choice is yours. You're just looking for a fluid consistency with the glaze. Now don't forget to add flavoring like vanilla. Every glaze needs a hint of more flavor. Time to fry. Once your oil gets to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, we're good to go. Carefully pick up your donuts. You don't want to knock the air out. And you're just going to slowly drop them in. These don't take very long, so about 30 seconds on one side and 30 seconds on the other side. They should be done when they're golden brown. Now a trick I use here is I use chopsticks, just wooden ones. They make it easy to flip the donuts over. They also make it easy to pick them up when you're done. When the donuts are done, I let them drain on a paper towel. Now frying the donut holes is a little bit different because you can't really flip them over. I just keep them moving in the pan using a spider. just move them around. They don't take very long to cook, and they'll all be done at the same time, so you can just gather them together and take them out. Super simple. You'll want to glaze the donuts while they're still warm. Just dunk them right in the glaze and flip it over to coat both sides. Move it around so it gets a very good coating before you take it out and rest it on a drying rack. This glaze will harden in a matter of a few minutes. Like I mentioned earlier, once they've all been glazed, it takes a few minutes for the glaze to harden over. As you can see, I couldn't really wait, so I took a big chunk out of this one. Tasted like a Krispy Kreme. Now that you have the basics down of making donuts, you can make any kind of donut you want. Chocolate dip, Boston cream. Maybe I'll cover the different donuts in another video. But for now, enjoy this beautiful glazed donut. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this content, please consider subscribing to the channel so you can keep up with all my latest videos. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time. Bye.